those of you that don't know, Fire Emblem is a tactical role-playing series that was created by Intelligent Systems and produced by Nintendo. For the longest time, it was only released in Japan because they thought it'd be too hard for us dumb Americans. However, with Marth and Roy's inclusion into Super Smash Bros. Melee as playable characters, people within the Western audience like myself became curious. We wanted to know what this Fire Emblem was and what it was all about. What was this game that we've been missing out on the whole time? Fire Emblem is one of my personal favorite video game series ever, if not my top favorite, if we don't include Super Smash Bros. And in recent years, Fire Emblem has arguably become one of Nintendo's biggest franchises, maybe even bigger than beloved franchises such as Metroid, F-Zero, or Star Fox. This is largely part to its unique game design in combination with its fantastic storytelling and great characters, which combined give the installments tons of replayability, at least in my opinion. But despite its unique style, gameplay, and incredible world building and storytelling, they have had a consistent issue that's been perpetual within the series since its very release. Not its insanely hard gameplay, not the permadeath mechanic or casual mode in later installments, and not the occasionally busted RNG either. The most pervasive issue that's been the most consistent within the series are the name pronunciations. For the most part, one thing I've personally enjoyed about the series were the characters and their names. I felt like the creators always took that extra step into giving characters unique names that you wouldn't normally come across for protagonists in other games, or even other forms of entertainment. Some examples I personally like are Lindis, Ike, Astrum, Caesar, Owain, Mordecai, Tabarn, Micaiah, and Guy. Honestly, I could keep giving examples, and most of the names are pretty straightforward. But every now and then you'd get a name that you'd have little to no idea of how to pronounce. Let's start from the beginning with some examples. The main protagonist in the Blazing Blade is named Eliwood. Seems pretty straightforward, right? You just read it as it is. El, Li, and Wood. Eliwood. But when Fire Emblem Heroes came out, they featured voice actors. And if one ever played the game or heard the voice actors, you'll notice they'll say their names or the names of others on occasion. Let's see how Patrick Zeitz as Hector pronounced Eliwood's name.
So, is Eliwood around? I can't relax until we spar.
Okay, but then more variants of Hector were released, and when he mentions the name again, he says Eliwood, not Eliwood.
Someday my kid and Ellywoods will spar. That'll settle who's stronger once and for all. Is Eliwood around? And Ellywoods will spar.
So which one is it? Is it Eliwood or Eliwood? It should be straightforward, but it isn't. Maybe this one doesn't matter, but here's another one. One of the antagonists in The Binding Blade, or better yet, the game featuring Roy, you have this guy, whose name is spelled like this. When I read that, I think Narcian, because the character is a narcissist, which is the word the very name is derived from. But I've heard some other people say Narcian. But it can't be Narcian, though, because you wouldn't say narcissist or narcissist. However, that's how some people say his name. So is it Narcian or Narcian? Well, fortunately, the owl from Fire Emblem Heroes finally says his name, so let's see how it's pronounced.
It looks like Narcian is in charge of the next invasion! We don't have much time before Narcian and his forces arrive!
Oh, so I guess it actually is Narcian. That's stupid. Here's another from the Blazing Sword. Her name reads like this. So I read that simply as Sarah, or do you literally pronounce it as it is, like Sura? Here's a good one, Bartray. At least that's what I call him. Or is it Bartree? At least show an accent mark to give us some kind of idea. Ugh, man, this just irks me. Okay, let's move on to a different title. In fact, the next installment, which I find even more confusing. Erica, even though the spelling is unusual, seems fairly obvious. It's basically just Erica. Then there's this guy. Is his name pronounced Ins or Inez? Fire Emblem Heroes' voice actor for the character has demonstrated the pronunciation now, which is Inez, but for the longest time it stuck out to me. But surprisingly, one of the worst names has to be the name of the main antagonist. Is it Lion or Lion? Or whatever, Lion or something? Anyway, Erica's voice actress in Fire Emblem Heroes first says Leon, but Ephraim's voice actor, especially with the alternate versions of the character, says Leon.
My brother and I, and our friend Leon.
Leon.
Which one is it? Didn't the casting and directing crew specifically tell the actors how to pronounce these names? Someone's not doing their part. Some real stinkers though have to be from Fire Emblem Awakening. One of my biggest personal grudges has to be this one. From the day I first laid eyes on that name, I had virtually no idea how to pronounce it, even to this day. The spelling is simple, but good luck saying it without sounding weird. Is her name Churchy, Churcha, or how Phoenix Master pronounces it, Shershi? For the longest time, I just said Churcha, until I heard Phoenix Master say otherwise. Seriously, this must be one of the weirdest names to come out of any kind of fiction. I did a little research, and apparently her name is French, so I literally looked up the word in French, and I guess it's pronounced Cherche. I'm gonna guess that's how her name is pronounced, Cherche. The fact I have to look it up and do research says a lot about how confusing some of these names can be. But the absolute worst of them all from Awakening, at least in my opinion, has to be this one. Yeah, good luck trying to figure that one out. Now, the most recent installment is an interesting one. Because of the voice acting, you know how all the names are pronounced, and they're consistent. But what's strange this time around are the names of the locations and objects. Take the Blue Lions for example. The house leader, Dimitri, comes from House Bladed. But it's not pronounced Bladed like it's spelled. No, that'd be too convenient. It's pronounced Bladed with a TH sound. And his weapon, or relic, to be specific, Aridfar, is pronounced Aridfar, not Aridbar. Yes, it's pronounced with an F, not a B. If it's pronounced with an F, then just write out the word with an F. Are you insane? Seriously, even the names of the weapons can be confusing and misleading. Speaking of weapons, there are even more examples. Let's go back to the Blazing Sword. Elwood's, or Eliwood's, legendary sword, I always thought was Durandal. But recently I heard the voice actor for legendary Eliwood in Fire Emblem Heroes say Durandal. I guess this one makes a little more sense, but something about saying Durandal just feels awkward to me. And why is it Dal at the end? I can maybe see Durandal, but Dal? And speaking of Als, there's the main antagonist, Nurgle, or until I heard others say Nurgal. Let me guess, just like Durandal, it's Nurgal, isn't it? For some reason Nurgal sounds stupid to me, but Nurgle doesn't sound much better either, like Gurgle or something. Maybe it's just not a good name for an antagonist, or anyone to begin with. Well, that's about it for my gripes. There are a ton more examples I could come up with, but you probably get my point. Thanks for listening to my ranting, and if there are any names you find confusing, let me know. Until then, I'll see you around. Thanks for watching.